Welcome to another how-to video for social studies, where we look at critical skills needed to find success in the course. Today we will be looking at how to analyze political cartoons. Political cartoons can be found throughout social studies and especially on your diploma. To understand a political cartoon, the viewer has to have an understanding of what is happening in the news and the world around them. Otherwise, although the image might be funny, the viewer may not understand the cartoonist's message and may miss the point. Although at times this can be a difficult task, there are several clues and questions you can ask to help yourself through this. One of the first ones to look at is symbolism. Cartoonists use simple objects, or symbols, to stand for a large concept of ideas. Identify the symbols in the cartoons, then think about what the cartoonist intends for them to mean. For example, here we have the elephant of the American Republic Party, the sickle and hammer from communism, and the swastika from Nazism. Common symbols that you may see in cartoons. Another aspect to look for is exaggeration. Sometimes cartoonists overdo or exaggerate the physical characteristics of people or things to make a point. Here we see Karl Marx, and if you look at Karl Marx's beard here, it's been exaggerated to show that it's Karl Marx. You may see on Barack Obama large ears, or you may see on Stephen Harper a large nose. Ask yourself, why is the cartoonist exaggerating or overblowing that characteristic, and how is that helping point out his message? Cartoonists often use labeling as well to show clearly what objects or people will stand for. Watch for various labels that appear in a cartoon and ask yourself why the cartoonist chose the labels that particular person or object. Does the label make the meaning of the object more clear? And if we take a look at the picture that you see here, we see a snake cut into several pieces, and then you see several abbreviations for the states. Without several abbreviations for the states, the meaning of the cartoon may be lost, in which this cartoon is asking the original colonies of the United States to join together, or to be under continuous tyranny from the British. Another key clue to look for that can be a bit harder are analogies. An analogy is a comparison between two unlike things that share some common characteristics. For example, if you take the 2008 American economy crash, you may want to compare it to a sinking ship. By comparing a complex issue or situation with a more familiar one, cartoonists can help their readers see it in a different light. Ask yourself, what two situations does the cartoonist want to compare? When you understand the main analogy, you may see a clearer point. The last key clue that we're going to take a look at is irony. Irony is the difference between the way things are and the way that they should be. And if you take a look at our cartoon here, we have Earth Day, where people are very interested about the Earth and environmental issues, and then they leave a gigantic mess. So, are they really environmentalists? That's the irony of it. Think about the point irony might be intending, and think if it helps to express the opinion more effectively. In addition to the clues, there are key questions that you can ask yourself. One of the first ones is, who are the people in the picture, and what are they doing? Where and when did the event occur? Look for clues in the picture. What subject or history is the cartoon referring to? How are the words and captions used? How are they relating? What techniques are used? And these techniques are those key clues that we just looked at in the previous slides. Some other ones to think about. What is the artist's opinion of the subject? What is the perspective they're conveying? And for the purposes of this course, what does the cartoon have to do with ideologies? And you can think about if you found the cartoon persuasive or not. Remember, when you're explaining if it's persuasive or not, yes or no is not good enough. You need to have a why. Use examples from the picture to help. Okay, let's take a look. So here's the cartoon that I used previously to explain irony. I'm going to give you guys the next 15 seconds to look at it on the screen. If you need more time than that, pause the video and take a try at doing the analysis with the same steps we just used. Alright, welcome back. I hope you did take the time to pause the video and take a look at the cartoon. Now, let's analyze it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask myself, who are the people in the picture and what are they doing? So if I look at the people in the first part of the picture, I can see they're happy, they're bright, obviously they're environmentalists because they're at Earth Day, and if I look at the people in the second part of the picture, they're going, yeah, act locally, so they're depressed, there's a lot of garbage all over the place, and it's a great comparison. Now let's look at the next question. Where and when did the event occur? I can tell that the event occurred in a large city because I've got skyscrapers in the background here. I also have a large population. I can also tell it's modern day because I have electronics. I've got speakers, I've got screens, etc. Also, another thing to look at, in the first frame, everyone's happy, it's sunny, it's bright and colorful. And in the second frame, it's really, really gloomy and gross. And to what subject in the news does this event, or what object it could be related to? Well, we know that's Earth Day. We can see it right here in big plain letters. How do the words and captions relate to the cartoon? Well, they're going to help us out because we have a before, and that's telling us a time frame, and an after, so that we know that we've had the celebration and its after effects. We also can look at the think globally, and act locally. So taking a well-known slogan of think globally and act locally and doing a comparison between those and helping to show the irony that people who claim to love the earth actually don't take the measures to protect it. So what techniques are being used? Like we found out in the last slide, irony, actions of so-called environmentalists, not actually showing that they're environmentalists. They're leaving lots of garbage. Also, another way to help show the irony, bright happy colors, gray, bleak, and dystopian looking. So what's the artist's opinion on the subject? Well, the cartoon refers to the whole idea that a lot of people claim to be raw environmentalists, but they actually don't do anything to support the environment. Their actions hurt the earth. A further detail to support that is in the second frame, the weather is bad. It makes it depressing, but also shows climate change, a long-term effect of not protecting the environment. So again, I've got pieces of evidence right out of the cartoons to support my analysis. So what perspective is being conveyed? I would say the perspective being conveyed is environmentalism, because cartoon shows people are not really protecting the environment, and they need to do something real to do this and show these actions. For the purposes of this course, we can look at a couple ideologies. We can first look at it as a critique of conservatism, which believes in the status quo, and for change happening slowly. So, status quo, yay, we support the environment, but no one actually really doing anything. Or you can look at liberalism, which believes in equality of opportunity and fits nicely in with the environmentalism. So the last question, did you find the cartoon persuasive? And explain. Personally, I find it a bit persuasive because it does show me really well that you've got environmentalism, you have lots of people who believe in it, and then not a lot of people taking action towards it. But what do you think? Take a couple minutes and think about it yourself. Feel free to discuss with me on the virtual chat or discuss with your classroom teacher. That is how we take apart and analyze our political cartoons. If you have any questions, you can look at your ADLC D2L online content. It has the same explanations. Feel free to ask questions as well to myself or your teacher in future